Welcome back.
Tea.
Welcome
I got
back.
my tea.
So we missed last week. Everybody got sick. Ava got sick, my daughter. She got sick. My niece was sick, and she decided to sneeze on me, and now I'm sick.
Yeah.
So we apologize for missing last week, but we are back this week. We will try not to miss any more weeks. But we are back, and so we're gonna first catch up on this Take a Man on a Date Month situation with her axe throwing. She still got all her toes.
I got all my toes.
So
You can't
that's
see them
good.
because I have ugly feet.
But
But I have ugly feet.
you have to
But
just throw that disclaimer
I
out
throw that
there.
out there in case people are like, I want to see it. No, you can't see the toes because I have ugly feet. They look like my hands. So yeah. But anyway.
I can't stand you right now.
Anyway, the Take a Man on a Date Month, I did go axe throwing. I had a really good time. It was so much fun. I think everyone should go axe throwing. I think you should go axe throwing. They have the axe. Those things are heavy.
That's
like
my
heavy.
thing, because that.
It's heavy. Look at the video. Show you guys look at the video and you can see like they are like super heavy. But I had a really good time. They have ninja stars too. So ninja stars, it was pretty dope. But the axe is actually my favorite. Throwing the axe, shooting the axe, it was pretty cool. So so the axe throwing, and then at the same venue, which is at the Boulevard Mall.
Mm-hmm.
So don't judge the location, but at the Boulevard Mall, they also have a 3D art museum, which I also have a Groupon for the 3D art museum. So if anyone wants to go,
I'm gonna have to hit up Groupon about this
at
whole axe throwing situation and see.
there's a few places you can go. I think there's one downtown, but I actually like this one because I looked at the reviews of a few different places, but I like this one because it was clean too. Like I didn't want to like it was just clean, you know. How you just want to go to a place that had a clean look.
Oh.
Yeah, it just had like a cleaner look to me, you know. So I enjoyed it, and I think my date he had a good time.
He better had a damn good time.
He had a good time. So
No, don't mind me, everybody. I'm sick, and I believe that Hennessy cures everything, and that's currently what's inside my cup. So if my speech tends to drag a little slurry, it's because I'm sick.
that's what we do here at Tacos and Tea.
Okay,
So
we cure it. We cure it all.
So yeah, I also actually went back home to Milwaukee, so that's why we didn't film last week. When I went back home, it wasn't cold.
Did you have fun? You enjoyed it?
I had fun. I have to shout out the guy who made my shirt, Lord Rudy, MKE made me, from Milwaukee. So
Does he have a Facebook?
He does. So Lord Rudy, just hit him up, Lord Rudy.
On Facebook. We'll go ahead and put his information down there.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, we'll go ahead and hit him up.
Shirts are real dope. He's a real cool dude too. So I was actually in Milwaukee for a conference for entrepreneurs. And so my brother was actually one of the speakers, and I met Lord Rudy there, who's also from Milwaukee. He now lives in Houston. So yeah, it was a pretty cool conference. I also met this 8-year-old girl. She's 8 years old. She has her own line of salad dressings.
That's so dope.
She has her own line of salad dressing. So I'll show you the picture from that too. So she's very inspirational.
That's 8 years old.
8 years old.
But that's like that little girl who started her own lemonade.
Yeah. I mean, these kids are
it's
like
out there.
Entrepreneurs.
I'm telling y'all, the money is out there. It's
out
up
there.
to you to go out and go get it. The money is there. The money is there.
Yeah, so it was a really good trip, I'll have to say. So,
That's good.
but sorry we missed the episode last week between Denise being sick, my travel. We just got crazy. So sorry, but we're back.
My bad. So this week, we decided that we were gonna discuss something that we feel is very important to us. Very important that we touch base on it. Right now, Saturday that just passed closed out Mental Health Awareness Week. Mental Health Awareness Week is the first week of October, between October 6th and October 12th. So it is a week of, my bad. My bad. But anyway, it is a week of, becoming aware of the becoming aware of the need of talking about mental health, because I personally believe within our community, within the Black community, it is something that is not discussed as much. It's something that's almost like a stigma is put upon having a mental health condition. And I don't think that it should be a stigma put on it. I think that it's something that needs to be more discussed, so that way it's more, people are aware of it. They're able to recognize it. When people are going through things, people go through things all the time.
You don't even know it sometimes.
And you don't even know it. Like, people be for real depressed, or, just having severe anxieties. Like, it's a real thing, and people walk around smiling, and deep down inside they are hurting, like just going through it, fighting this battle within themselves. And I just think that it's just something that that needs to be talked about. I feel like families need to talk about it with their kids,
especially
and
Black families,
especially
Black families, because I feel like that's just something that we don't talk about as a Black family. Especially me growing up in the church, it was like, okay, you could pray it out of you. I mean, you could pray it out of you, but you could also talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
because there's roads, and there's avenues, and there's help at the end of the day. So praying about it is always a good thing. You should pray about everything. Worry about nothing, pray about everything. That's what they say. But at the end of the day, there's still other degrees to it. There's other levels to it, as they say. So I feel like it is something that truly does need to be discussed, because I know for me personally, I knew of postpartum depression before I had my daughter. Of course, you read about it, your doctors tell you about it. You don't really know what to expect from it, because there's not just one sign of anything, like everybody, side effects are different. Just like when I used to work in oncology, patients would always ask me, well, if I do this chemo, am I going to end up like this? Am I going to lose my hair? I can't tell you that, because for everybody it's different. It's your body chemistry. It's how your body reacts to this change, So for me, I noticed that I did change when I had my daughter. It wasn't something that, where I was going to harm her or I was going to harm myself. I was just sad.
But did you get help, or did you speak to someone about, like the feelings or the emotions, the sadness that you were feeling? Did you speak about it with anyone?
Honest, I didn't. And I think I didn't because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what was going on with me. I just felt like maybe I was just tired because I had just had a baby. But now that I'm looking back on it, and I can see it for what it is, I was really going through something, and I feel like and then for other people too, like when you are a person that has mental health, or you're a person, that's going through those things, it's hard to talk to people, and it's hard for the person that you're either dealing with or living with, or your family members, because your condition affects, it's a unit thing, it's a support thing. Like, your support system is very, very important with dealing with those types of things.
Now, do you wish you had spoken to someone when you were going through that situation?
I do.
What do you think would have changed?
I think that I would have had an outlet. Like, I think that me personally, I think I would have just had just someone to talk to, someone to express it to. I don't think like much would have changed, like as far as me being a mom. I think my parenting skills probably would have still remained the same, but I just think me as a woman and growing and understanding those changes, I think that probably would have helped me a lot.
Yeah, I had never with the postpartum depression, but definitely I've been in a situation where I've gotten really, really depressed. I mean, even making major moves when I moved from Milwaukee to California, I was by myself.
Right.
Like, I didn't have any family. Like, I made that move all on my own for a job opportunity, right out of college. So I'm like 22 at the time. So I'm moving to this big city of Los Angeles by myself. I went through it. And it actually took me a couple of years to realize what I was going through. And so I didn't get help until years later.
Right.
But you know, thankfully I had really good, you know, I found really good coworkers and friends who, you know, who were like family to tell me like, hey, I think you really should speak to someone. And I think as an HR professional, you know, you talk to other professionals who would promote like the employee assistance programs at an employer, and where people don't really take advantage of it, but every
It's
employer I
there.
go to, I
Right.
take advantage of it because it's free counseling.
It is.
It's free therapy, and it's like no matter what, I think everyone needs some form of therapy. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're, you know, you're suicidal, because I think a lot of people relate mental health illnesses and depression, and they confuse it with someone being suicidal.
Or they automatically think just because you are depressed or you have high anxieties, you automatically want to
Be suicidal.
be suicidal.
And that's not the case.
Right.
It's just an emotion of overwhelming sadness, and everyone needs an outlet. Everyone needs someone to talk to about it. And sometimes you don't feel comfortable with talking to your friend, you know, because there's some things that I don't know if I feel comfortable telling to you, but I will talk to a stranger
'Cause it's unbiased.
because you're getting unbiased opinion.
Right.
So, you know, I take advantage of every opportunity I can to go to use an EAP, go to therapy. I still go to therapy to this day because especially when things triggered in my life, when I have triggered events. When my dad passed away, I went to therapy.
See, and I
Exactly.
didn't, and I feel like
You have
I
to.
should. It was crazy because I was talking to one of my other friends about it, and for me, death is a huge. Well, for most people, death is a huge trigger, but for me, it's like I should have. For like when my best friend passed away, I should have. When my nephew passed away, I should have. When my daddy just passed away, I should have. And then I find myself, when it comes like anniversary times, around the times that they pass away, I find myself going into this place.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
You get a setback.
yeah.
So now, like I said, for me, therapy definitely worked in terms after my dad died. So I would say to you, if you're feeling all those emotions and whatnot, definitely you want to talk to somebody about it, because it's going to really they're going to give you ways that you can grieve, because everyone grieves differently. You know, so I can't tell you how to grieve. Someone else can't tell you how to grieve. All you can do is go to someone, talk about it, let them kind of help you set the stage or set the, you know, what path it is that you need to take in order to grieve that person's death,
Right.
you know, in your own way. So that's why it was good for me. I mean, death is not something you just get over.
Right.
Because I mean, my dad has been gone, you know, for some time now, and I still think about my dad every day. Like, I think today I mentioned him, you know, in a conversation, and how I miss him. And so, you know, you're never going to get rid of that emotion or that feeling of missing that person, but you definitely can deal with it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are some pretty high trigger events. So
Yeah.
I say, hey, something like that happens, you definitely need to go to therapy. After a rough breakup, I've done that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, after I broke up with my ex who I was with years ago, I went through therapy, because we were together for a while, you know, and so I had to definitely go through therapy, because it was like separation anxiety,
Yeah,
you know.
see, and I think for me, like, I think I need to, like, I don't know, like, for me, it's hard for me to open up and talk to people, and maybe that's the reason why I haven't yet used.
And your job probably has an
it
EAP.
does.
Yep, and it's
It
free.
does, and it's free,
And it's free.
and I need to because it's free.
Yeah,
And
it's
I need
free.
to, and
There's
I
no
know that.
excuse. There's no excuse. I mean, you just call them up, and they ask you all these questions like, you know, do you want a male or female? You know, who do you feel like you're going to be more comfortable with? And finding a good therapist is like finding a good pair of shoes. Like, you really got to like shop around.
Yeah.
So the first try, you're not always going to get it on the first try. You know, unless you want to just get a recommendation from a friend or a family member or someone, it's going to take a while to find a therapist that you truly connect with. And you know, I when I was living out in California, I had a therapist who I really, 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 really liked. And to the point where I texted her one night and I was like, can you just move to Vegas? Because, I mean, we connected. Like, she was always there for me. Like, I would sometimes text her in the middle of the night if I was having, like, a moment. And, you know, those are the types of therapists you really want. The ones that you feel really comfortable with. But, you know, it definitely takes some time in finding that person that you truly connect with. Because you have to feel comfortable with that therapist, too. So, you know, I would say go get you some therapy.
I'm definitely gonna come Monday. I'm gonna utilize the
EAP.
I'm gonna definitely utilize the EAP.
Let me tell you, as an HR professional, like, and you know, I push EAP all the time on employees because I know I used to work at a call center, you know, here, and all different types of people coming through, and the things that people would come to me with, some really heavy, deep stuff, to the point where, you know, I started to realize, do I need to get therapy for the stuff that they're coming to me with? Because I'm taking this home, you know.
It weighs.
But definitely, I always recommend, you know, my employees to a EAP because it's so important. But then too, you just never know what people are going through these days. Have you seen the movie Joker yet?
I haven't, but my mom told me I plan to go see it. I want to go see it. My mom told me it touches base. My mom told me it really does touch base on mental health. But see, I think that society, period, it's not talked about as much. Like, it's not recognized as much as any other illness, you know? Like, there's...
Of course not. Because it's mental. You know, people think you're crazy when you're going for something, doing mental health.
Right.
Like, people think you're crazy. Like, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Because you want to protect your emotions. You want to protect your brain, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why people don't talk about it. And that's definitely in that Joker movie. So, check it out.
I'm definitely going to go check it out. My mom told me it's hella dark, though. She didn't say hella. But she did say it was dark. I said hella.
Hey, Mom.
She didn't say hella, but...
No, it is very dark, but it's you. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
I heard it was really good.
It's
I'm gonna definitely go check that movie out, though.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. So, I mean, this I think social media doesn't do social media plays a big part in people's mental health because everybody's trying to do what they see other people doing and keep up with everybody else, but one thing they're not trying to do is go see a therapist, or they're not trying to make sure that they're right in themselves. They just want to do whatever everybody else is doing.
I think that social media, especially with the younger generation, I feel like social media plays a huge part on the way that they develop and the way they view themselves mentally. You have access to everyone at any time, all the time. So it's like they are constantly trying to portray who they think everybody else would like for them to be, instead of sitting back trying to develop who they truly are. And I think that plays a huge part on the psyche, trying to keep up. You're 16, you're a girl, you're 16. Imagine us when we were 16 years old. And there wasn't, like, the social world was nothing like this.
I wasn't nothing
like this. And the
like
things that we got, but just developing, we got to do it somewhat in privacy.
Oh, yeah,
like,
definitely.
We weren't, like, everything wasn't at the fingertip of everybody else. We weren't being judged on everything. Yeah. Every picture wasn't posted up every 5 seconds.
That's true.
Like, I think that social media, period, just this world of just at your fingertip access for kids is just, it's harder. It's harder for them now.
And that's why having a good mental health assessment on yourself is so important.
Yeah.
So important. I think I made a post on my Instagram the other day that because it was Mental Health Awareness Day, and it was like, your mental health is just if not as important as your physical health. Financial health, because you can't get to the bag if
Yeah,
if you're not right.
right.
Yeah, you can't. You can't get to the bag if you're not right.
No,
so
you can't.
You definitely need to, invest in your mental health, and going to a therapist isn't cheap. But that's why I say take advantage of your employer's employee assistance program.
Right.
Because it's not cheap. You definitely have to invest. So just like you guys invest in them Gucci belts, invest in getting some good mental health care.
Mm-hmm.
Like you definitely have to.
Yeah.
You definitely have to. So, so what are some of the ways that you deal or you cope with the pressures of society?
My anxieties, I write, well, not as much as I used to, write, but I recently started back journaling. Journaling
Oh, that's good.
was a very good way for me to write, just let it all out, put it all on paper, let it all out, and then I would go back and read it. Me reading it was like me dissecting, my issues, trying to figure it all out. So that for me is a good way for me. And sometimes I'll go run. Hell, sometimes I'll just cry it out. Like at the end of the day, sometimes that's really what you need. Like I remember when I went back home to Chicago, I was getting ready for my dad's funeral. At this point, I cried about it. Of course, when they first called me and told me about it, I cried about it. And I remember crying to my mom about it, but I hadn't really cried. Like I cried, but I haven't really cried like
You need that
my
good
daddy
one.
is gone.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
need it.
need to cry. And I remember sitting inside my sister's shower. Like I'm sorry, Sissy, because my water bill was probably like $100 million. Because I swear I felt like I sat in there for like 2 days and just cried.
Yeah.
Like just cried. And then when I could not cry anymore, I can't say I felt better, but I felt less pressure. Like I felt like I could breathe. So sometimes you just need to let it out.
No, you do. I remember, so when my dad passed away, I was actually at the hospital when they pulled the plug and everything. I was there. And later that night, this was in Milwaukee, and so later that night, I had went out, because obviously I didn't want to sit in my house, so we had went out, and I got stupid drunk and passed out. Well, actually, I cried myself until I passed out. Like I was stupid drunk, like in the bathroom at the bar. I was at the bar, and I just because I couldn't deal with it, because especially after everything that I had saw that day, watching the nurse pull the plug, it was rough. It was definitely rough. And I remember my uncle being there, my girlfriend, Takesha, when she was there with me, and it was like I knew I needed just like a good cry, and I cried for a while. And then after we shipped my dad's body to Mississippi, I remember being at my grandma's house, and I just broke down, and had that good, just
you just need
let
that
it
cry.
out, just so, and I still cry about it.
Yeah.
I still cry about it.
I still be crying sometimes.
I still cry about it.
Yeah, because my daddy's it's almost
It's
a year.
recent, yeah.
It hasn't even been a whole year yet.
Yeah,
so
very
I still
recent.
cry. I still cry. It's just certain things in life are things there's no, like they say, there's time heals everything, but there's just certain things, no matter how much time passes, it's never gonna completely heal. Like you learn how to live. You don't really ever get over it. You learn how to continue, basically.
And that's why therapy is so good for that, because they give you the principles, the tools and the techniques to teach you how to continue to live.
Right.
So, shout out to my therapist.
Girl.
Because let me tell you, you need that. You need it.
I know I need
You
it.
need it. You definitely
But some days I be feeling like I am a whole lot of eggs short of my dozen.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is sometimes. That's how it is. So, like I said, take advantage of your employer's employee assistance program. Get that free therapy in the beginning, and then definitely after that, invest in yourself. And go at least once per month.
Yeah.
Once a month. If you can't afford once a month, once a quarter. I mean, people definitely need to seek out some kind of therapy.
Yeah, I feel like people need to seek out therapy. I feel like families need to talk more. The family structure is very, very important. I feel like a healthy family structure is important.
Now, do you talk to your daughter about it?
Honestly, I don't talk to Ava about it because right now, I mean, she's only 5,
Okay.
so I don't really talk to her about. I try to shield her from certain things. Like, of course, it's hard, and I think that's another big thing. Being a mom, you feel like you always have to protect your child from seeing you being human. You know, like when my dad passed away, I literally I left home for 2 days and went to go stay with my friend for 2 days, and my cousin kept my daughter for 2 days just because I needed those 2 days to get it all out so that I can go home and be a mom.
Because you didn't want her
Because
to
I
see
didn't
you.
I didn't want that to affect her, and so
Yeah.
I think that it's hard sometimes being a mom, being a parent, and remembering that we are human. It's okay to be human. It's okay to cry. I just think it's just a certain way that we have to go about. Like, I feel like now I do. Like, she understands it now, because sometimes we'll be driving and I'll just start crying. And I have to explain it to her.
I'm sure
so.
she's like, "Why are you crying?"
Yeah,
Mom?
she asks.
She's very, because your daughter, she's so aware.
Girl, she's so nosy.
Like, she aware. I used the word aware. She said nosy.
No, but she is.
She's
very,
so aware
very
because she's so
aware.
smart and she picks
Very
up on
alert.
things. Yeah, she's very aware.
Yeah, she's very in tune with the things that are going on around her, and that's why I think sometimes I try to protect her from the things that are going on around her. But she understands. She gets it. She knows that my daddy is gone and my daddy passed away. So I try to, explain those things to her. But as far as the importance of mental health, I try to personally make sure her mental health is okay by always showering her with positivity.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in the morning when she wakes up, we do positive affirmations.
Yeah.
Before she goes to bed, I make her say one good thing about herself.
And that's important. I think last episode talked about that too. Like, positive affirmations works wonders for your mental health.
It
Like,
does.
seriously.
Positivity, like just putting those positive things on yourself. Like, I have Bess.
Hey, Bess.
I tell him all the time, that
No wings for you, by the way.
So I tell him all the time the importance of positive reinforcement upon yourself, because he tends to be very, very hard on himself. We are our own worst critics. So I try to tell him all the
I can
time,
see that with
say good things about you. Don't focus on the negative things or the things that you don't have or the things, all those things will come eventually. Focus on the things that are good now. Like, pay attention to the things that are good now, and just continue to recycle those good things in your mind, and positive thinking.
I is smart.
Yeah, I am
is
special.
I is special.
I am important.
And I is important.
Yeah.
Okay? Look, those are your affirmations from Tacos and Tea.
Yeah.
Brought to you by The Help.
The hell. Minus the
Brought to
pie.
you by The Help.
Minus the pie.
Minus the pie, right? No pie.
No pie.
So, well, we're coming up to the end of our time here on Tacos and Tea. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation we had on mental health. Protect your mental health.
Yeah,
Invest in your mental health.
Protect your mental health at all costs. Like, even if that
Yes.
means, I posted something on my Facebook and it was like, I am not. It was something like, I will not hesitate to cut off a friend, a family member, a coworker, somebody, like, to protect my mental health. Your mental health.
You gotta do that.
Is something that you have to protect. You have to protect your peace.
Protect your
people
peace.
are draining. Energies are exchanged. So that's just what it is. That's just life. And we exchange energies daily, all the time. And when somebody is draining, it's okay to step back. It's okay to just be like, you know what? We just need a break, because.
And I feel like we do a lot of that when we date. We are so alone and lonely. We don't care about how our energy is with that person that we're with. We'd rather be in a toxic relationship.
Ooh.
Well, maybe we'll talk about
that next
week.
time. Ooh, girl,
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about
Child.
toxic relationships in on the
Ooh,
next episode.
Because something.
That's a whole different episode.
Girl, that's a whole nother cup of Hennessy, okay?
Ooh, let's take a sip of my. I'm about to take a sip of my tea on that one
because, honey,
with the pinky up. Because that's gonna be a good one right there. So y'all make sure y'all tune in on the next episode of Tacos and Tea. And we're going to talk about those toxic relationships, okay?
Yeah, so you guys, make sure you guys utilize your, if you are employed and your employer offers the benefit, please be sure to use the benefit. Please be sure to check up on your friends, call them. Just, even, the crazy thing is that you don't even know how sending somebody a message that just says, I hope you have a beautiful day. Or you're special. In. Yeah, just checking in, or you're special to me. Like, little things go a long ways. Yep. And sometimes somebody just needs that hint of knowing that somebody is there.
It's caring.
You know, it cares about them or is thinking about them. So check up on your friends. You know, you don't gotta pry. You ain't gotta be all up in their business. But
yeah, don't get in their
business.
It's
always good to
just
know.
Say hi.
Yeah, it's always good to know that you got somebody in your corner. So check up on your strong friends. The weak ones.
Check on your strong friends because they need you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of Tacos and Tea.
Oh, and this week our tacos came from Mi Gusto Taco, and they was bomb.
I haven't even eaten mine yet.
My taco was so bomb. My little carne asada taco, I could barely taste it because I can't taste, smells,
because you're sick,
hear any damn thing.
All her senses are gone.
All my senses gone. And I got the nerve to want to go out and dance tonight. I want to go out and turn it up one time for the one time.
Well, I'm gonna give her another shot of Hennessy, and she'll feel much better.
Either I'm gonna feel better, or I'm gonna come back next week with a whole husband.
All right, y'all. Next week we're gonna be married, and we're gonna talk about toxic relationships.
Well, damn.
All right, so we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.